preside over the inauguration of the State's Attorney for Prince George's County, Aisha Braveboy. At this time, I'm going to call up the hat to the Congressman Anthony Brown of Carver Brown. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, as you can tell from your program, I am not Anthony Brown. Rather, he better have. I will extend my apologies. Anthony so wanted to be here today to celebrate this special occasion for Aisha. He was really looking forward to it, and unfortunately woke up this morning with a raging fever, and so it just was not to be. So we made a quick decision after a quick phone call. I was checking in on him this afternoon. He was rather incoherent, and so I sped home and quick change, and here I am. So the show must go on, and indulge me, because obviously last minute, but we will make sure that this is a very special day for you, Aisha. We're all so very proud of you. All right, so let's get this started. Obviously today I do have the privilege of being the mistress of ceremony today for the investiture of the Honorable Aisha N. Braveboy, our next State's Attorney for Prince George's County. On behalf of Ms. Braveboy, as well as her parents, who certainly are proudly in attendance today, they are largely, we know, responsible for Aisha's commitment to public service, and so we certainly welcome each and every one of you as we celebrate. We have a number of speakers and participants in today's ceremony, so let me not delay, and we want to certainly proceed with the program. But before I do, like many of you, I want to simply say, Anthony and I have known Aisha for quite some time, and I think this is probably one of the cases where perhaps he's known you longer than I have. I often get to say that to him. As a native of Prince George's County and a graduate of Largo High School, Ms. Braveboy received her bachelor's degree in government and politics from our flagship university, the University of Maryland in College Park, and later earned her law degree from Howard University. In addition to her 8 years as a member of the Maryland House of Delegates representing the 25th Legislative District, Ms. Braveboy is practicing law, and she's been doing that since the year 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me welcome to the podium the senior pastor for Mount Eden Baptist Church, the Reverend Dr. Delman Coates.
Good afternoon. Might we bow in a word of prayer? Eternal and all-wise God, we thank you for this day and for this occasion that brings us together. We ask for your divine blessings upon this county, her elected leadership, and this state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy. We thank you for her dedication and her determination. We thank you for her service and sacrifice to this community and the ideals of her office. We pray that you would undergird her leadership with the character and integrity required to serve the residents of Prince George's County. We ask that you would strengthen her voice and give her the vision to be the guarantor of justice that we need. We pray that you would bless her family, the staff of the state's attorney's office, prosecutors, and members of law enforcement, that this community might continue to thrive and be safe. Be with us this day and raise the crown of justice, equity, and fairness above our heads and encourage us to grow tall enough to wear it. Be with us in everything that we do and keep us in your care. It is in the name of justice, love, and peace that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Coates, and thank you for your spiritual leadership here in Prince George's County. We will now have the presentation of colors by the Largo High School Color Guard. Please stand for the presentation of colors, which will be immediately followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Honorable Michael A. Jackson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Our turn. March. Forward. March. Guard. Hold. Order. Colors. Fly. Fly.
I pledge allegiance
All right, well, let's give a hand to certainly Chairman Jackson, but also let's show some appreciation once again for the fine students from Largo High School. At this time, we're going to have former State's Attorney for Montgomery County, the Honorable Doug Gansler, to the acknowledgement of elected officials.
I'll just, I'm going to acknowledge the former elected officials in the room, and I got this job, which is never a good job because I'm going to miss a lot of people. But I'll go ahead and start. Rashawn Baker, the former county executive of Prince George County, thank you for your service. Mayor Eddie Martin, Capitol Heights. Carmen Brown, representing Anthony Brown, and he's, I wanted to see his new beard, but it's not here today. Delegate C.T. Wilson will be speaking, and he would have the loudest Pledge of Allegiance I've ever heard. Delegate Mike Jackson, who you already heard from. Former Judicial Proceedings Chair, Delegate Joe Valerio, thank you for years of service being here. Sheriff Melvin High is here with us. Mahassan El Amin, the new clerk of the court, is here. Senator Melanie Griffin, new senator, is here as well. Former Senator Gloria Lawler is with us in the jury box. You'll hear from United States Senator Chris Van Hollen. Doyle Neiman, former delegate, is here as well. Karen Tolles, former council member. Ed Burrows, school board. Sarita Lee, Register of Wills. Jonathan Medlock is the Vice Mayor of District Heights. From the City of Excellence, Mayor Eugene Grant. I'm sorry, yeah, Eugene Grant is here. I saw him. And just two other personal privileged people. Eric Barron could not be here. Delegate Barron and I had the honor of working with Aisha Braveboy on her transition, and he could not be here today. And two other people that you may not know but will hear more of, both who worked, I had the pleasure of working with, Gerald Collins, who will be a special assistant to the State's Attorney Braveboy, and Jason Abbott, who's going to be the chief deputy, though he is a Cowboys fan. Okay. Yeah, Police Chief Hank Stawinski's here, and who else did you say? Oh, Fire Chief Barksdale is here as well. Thank you. And if you're also here when I come back up, if I didn't get you, I saw Tim Maloney in the back. Just go ahead and shoot me a text and I'll announce it.
I like that we're always able to be fluid with these things. Okay, let's see. So let's get back to our program. Our next speaker today is the Honorable Chris Van Hollen. Senator Van Hollen, our junior senator from Maryland, was elected to the Senate in 2016, and Senator Van Hollen previously served 14 years in the United States Congress. Today, he serves on the powerful Appropriations Committee, among several other assignments. Can we please welcome the Honorable Chris Van Hollen.
Thank you, Carmen, and to Judge Tillerson Adams and all the members of the court. Thank you for your service. Good to be in your courtroom. To Reverend Coates, thank you for your spiritual leadership in the community, but always working to translate those important lessons into action to help improve our community. I'm grateful for all you do. Carmen, thank you for all you're doing for our community, and please tell Anthony on behalf of all of us to get well soon. And I do want to say, I just came from a gathering of federal employees who were suffering from the government shutdown. And Anthony Brown and Steny Hoyer and Ben Cardin, the Maryland delegation, have been very focused on trying to end that government shutdown and put people back to work, because it's simply wrong to tell 800,000 people that they're no longer going to get a paycheck. So I want to thank this community for all their efforts there. But it reminded me of the actions I witnessed by the person who we're celebrating, honoring, and swearing in today. And I had the opportunity to work with and witness Aisha Braveboy when she was a delegate. And around this time of year, it was the winter of 2015, around this time of year, workers at Safeway stores, especially the Collington Delivery Service Center for Safeway stores, were getting pink slips. They started here in about October of 2015, that things might not be working out. They heard rumblings. There was the Safeway Holding Company. There were lots of folks in the corporate world far away from Prince George's County who were thinking about making changes that would impact people here in Prince George's County. And in fact, hundreds of Safeway employees got pink slips just before Christmas in 2015. And Aisha Braveboy swung into action. She said, this is not right. It's unjust. It can't happen in our community. And I watched her organize and participated in her efforts as we organized picket lines at Safeways around the area. We held rallies, and guess what? In the end, because of her leadership and a determined community, working with the Teamsters and others, Safeway and their holding company backed down. They backed down, and as a result of that, 700 employees did not have to go home for Christmas not knowing whether they would have a job and a paycheck. That's Aisha Braveboy. Fighting for fairness, fighting for justice, and she will continue to do that for our community, just in a different capacity. She will continue to work with everybody in this room to make sure that Prince George's County continues its successful fight to dramatically reduce violent crime, the biggest drop in violent crime of any community in the state, dramatic 50% since 2010. I want to salute County Executive Rashawn Baker, and of course the new County Executive, Angela Alsobrooks, as well as the law enforcement community and the judicial community and everybody who's involved in that successful effort. And I know the new state's attorney is going to continue to make sure that we have a safe community. But I'm also sure that she will continue the effort to reform things that need to be reformed. Because I watched her terrific record in the state legislature, fighting against domestic violence, trying to make sure that we stop domestic violence and made sure that those who have been victims and survivors could pull their lives and bring back together. Focus on juvenile justice, recognizing that the best way to ensure a community that is safe and has opportunities to make sure that we work with young people from the very start. And that if they do get in trouble, that we find a way to make sure they have a different path to go. And that has been part of her life's work. And when a lot of people around the country were not talking about criminal justice reform and the need for those reforms, Aisha Braveboy was one of the people talking about it. I am pleased at the federal level, after many, many years, we were able to pass a significant criminal justice reform bill. Much needed, not enough, but a good start forward. And it's great to see our U.S. Attorney here, and I want to thank him for his work as well. But in closing, I've seen Aisha Braveboy fight for justice in so many different ways. Whether it was on the picket line, whether it was trying to create more opportunity for people, whether it was kids' education. And Madam State's Attorney, I see this as a continuation of your fight for justice, and I'm proud to be with you and this great community and family here today to celebrate this moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Van Hollen. And now we will next hear from the United States Attorney for the District of Maryland, Robert K. Hur. Received his Bachelor's of Arts, magna cum laude from Harvard College, his Juris Doctorate from Stanford Law School, and after graduation from law school, United States Attorney Hur clerked for William Rehnquist, then Chief Justice of the United States, and also Judge Alex Kaczynski of the United States Court of Appeals of the Ninth Circuit. He has had a distinguished legal career in both the public and private sector, and on April 9, 2018, assumed the office of Maryland U.S. Attorney. Welcome, Mr. Hur.
Excuse me, just before you start, could I just have 7 people that are standing in the front, please come forward? Come on. Yeah, come on. And we have a few seats right here in the front row. Just come on up. Just come up through the well, please. Come up here through the well. And just sit right here. There's just so many people. I want as many people as they can get an opportunity to kind of just come around and sit on this front row. Right next to Delegate Neiman. Right into the jury box. Right into the jury box. Be in the jury. I think that. There we go. That brings up more people who can come and have a seat. Thank you. I need to keep a couple seats there, so go ahead and stay where you were if you don't mind, please, just so I can keep a couple seats because a couple more people coming in, but I wanted that front row filled up. Great. Next. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
May it please the court. Good afternoon, everyone. I am very honored to be with you today to mark the terrific occasion of the investiture of our newest state's attorney for Prince George's County. The relationship between the state's attorney's office and the United States Attorney's Office has long been a very strong one. I was sworn in as United States Attorney for the District of Maryland less than a year ago, and I was very blessed to come into a situation where our offices of prosecutors respect each other and work well together because we share a common dedication to the safety of our communities. We also understand how critical it is to have close partnerships between state responsibility to the people that we serve is bigger than any one of us. I am eager to continue our great partnership with our newest state's attorney for Prince George's County. Robert Jackson, whom some of you might know as a historical figure, he served as Attorney General of the United States and then as a Justice of the United States Supreme Court. He delivered a speech back in 1940 about the role of the prosecutor. I personally find his remarks sobering and humbling because they impress upon me the gravity of the work that we do and the decisions that we make. Simply put, when your mission is doing justice, it's important to get it right. Now, Attorney General Jackson noted that the prosecutor has more control over life, liberty, and reputation than any other person in America. While the prosecutor at his best is one of the most beneficent forces in our society, when he acts from malice or other base motives, he is one of the worst. Now, from the causes to which Ms. Braveboy has dedicated herself in the course of her truly impressive career, I expect that she will continue to be a truly beneficent force for our society. Now, our office's partnership is critical to ensuring the continued success that Prince George's County saw this past year in reducing crime, and particularly combating violent crime. The stakes for the community and for both of our offices are high, which makes the cooperation between our offices that much more important. Our offices have worked hand in hand to weaken gangs, such as MS-13, who seek to control territory and intimidate their rivals through violence. Together with ATF and the Prince George's County Police Department, we work to keep guns out of the hands of criminals with violent criminal histories. Together with the FBI's cross-border task force, we prosecute armed robberies and other violent crimes and seek to deter more of these crimes and prevent other people from being victimized by them. Our offices are joining together to tackle the scourge of sex trafficking. And sadly, our state and our county see far too many victims of this terrible crime who need the help of law enforcement. And finally, our offices collaborate to work with and to help train the brave men and women of the Prince George's County Police Department, who share our commitment to protecting the public, but also doing it in a manner consistent with the rule of law. And I look forward to continuing our work together in all of these areas. I'd like to leave you with the final sentence of Attorney General Jackson's speech back in 1940, in which he summed up the qualities of a good prosecutor. And these qualities guide all of us in this profession. A sensitiveness to fair play and sportsmanship is perhaps the best protection against the abuse of power, and the citizen's safety lies in the prosecutor who tempers zeal with human kindness, who seeks truth and not victims, who serves the law and not factional purposes, and who approaches his task with humility. Those words inspire me, and I hope they inspire all of us who enjoy the privilege of serving as a prosecutor to rise to our collective calling. Ms. Braveboy, I look forward to working closely with you for the good and safety of our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurt, for your remarks and certainly for the work that you do on behalf of our great state. We will next, actually, we're going to bring back up Mr. Gansler. I think I was remiss in saying this. Mr. Gansler actually served as our 45th Attorney General of the state of Maryland. So,
This is more relevant. Thank you. Thank you, Carmen. You know, when I first spoke with Aisha about her new job, it became incredibly apparent to me very quickly that what Aisha would like to do as state's attorney is solve all the problems in the criminal justice system in the United States of America last week. And we have many. And we can sort of talk about those racial inequalities, unequal access to justice, reentry, bail reform, juvenile justice, immigration, human trafficking, school shootings, gun trafficking. There are so many that she is going to see and going to be dealing with those on many different levels. But what struck me as I was sitting there thinking about what I would say, which is how I usually do it, sitting there thinking about what I would say, is when I first ran for state's attorney in 1998 in the suburb of Prince George's County. And I was sitting there with my first pamphlet, and it said, tough but fair. And those of you who dabble in politics, like I did, have people to tell you whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And what they said was, you can't be tough but fair. We changed the word but to and fair. Tough and fair. And I was just like many what we call progressive, or we used to call liberal folks who went to law school thinking I was going to be a public defender and save the downtrodden and help everybody I could in the criminal justice system. When I realized in law school that the state's attorney has all the powers, the United States attorney just mentioned, and if you're not in this world, you have no idea the power of a state's attorney. They used to say you could indict a ham sandwich, it's not that far off. And so the importance of understanding and recognizing, yes, you have to be tough, and you have to recognize that people don't want criminals on their streets, and people don't want gun-toting felons walking down the streets, and people don't want drugs in the neighborhood. You have to recognize that the most important thing is never prosecute an innocent person. And to make sure that the system is fair and that you are the system. We have these wonderful judges as the backstop, the checks and balances to that system. But you're really on the front lines. And as we walked down that path more and started talking about some of these issues, I've gotten to know a woman I've known Aisha probably 20 years, but more so recently since she won this job. And it occurred to me that if you're going to be fair and you're going to have this job, you need to be a person that is fair inside. And you have the heart to want to do the right thing for the right reasons and be able to articulate those reasons. I would submit that there's a lot of politicians here today, and like I said, I was one of them. But this is the last day that Aisha Braveboy is going to be a politician until she has to run again. Because the job of being a state's attorney ought to be the least political job you ever had. Just think about the civil rights movement, think about other movements in our country. If you went with the whims and the ways and the feeling of the people, you might not get it right. You have to look at the facts, you have to apply the law to those facts and do the right thing. And sometimes that means letting the person go because you just aren't sure, or you don't have the facts to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And in my view, there's nobody who's more dedicated to that goal, to that mission, who has the heart and the intelligence for that mission than our new state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy. And so when I first heard her name, Aisha Braveboy, many years ago, I was like, that's an odd name, Braveboy. But I would submit here today, she is one brave woman, and she's going to do a great job as the next state's attorney for sure. All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gansler. Now I'd like to bring to the podium the Honorable C.T. Wilson, delegate from Charles County, District 28.
May it please the court, Mr. Honors, honored guests. Those of you know me know I was a soldier. And one thing I've learned is effective leadership should never be measured by how high you climb, but by how high you propel others. In the military, we have an exhaustive list of leadership styles, such as technical proficiency, tactical prowess, authoritarian, fear, laissez-faire, and minimalistic government. But the most sought after, the one that you can't really teach, is inspirational leadership. And after years of knowing Aisha, she has that in spades. And I say that because, again, if you know me, I've been marching my own drum since I can remember. I don't pay attention to a lot of folks because they're usually wrong. I got this far by believing in me even if no one else does. So when I met Aisha, we didn't often see eye to eye. But I still watched her. She inspired those around her. She inspired those that didn't believe in her. She inspired those that disagreed with her. She inspired me, and that's saying a lot, because she was a politician at the time, and although I am one, I don't trust her. But she earned my trust, because we didn't agree, and she still invited me into the room all the time. That's a phenomenal value that most folks would shy away from. And believe me, in Annapolis, most folks don't invite me anyway. Because she has that special quality. Because she believes in people. The input of those around her is important to her. Not just now, because I know how we're all thinking, yeah, everybody starts out that way. But I've known her. She knows that her staff aren't just robots, that their mothers and their fathers, their homeowners, their parents, they are real people who depend on her. She believes in people. She values children, women, immigrants, the elderly, citizens. She knows that we all deserve justice, even the defendants. And then, I started here. And one thing I learned, the role of a prosecutor, the role of a state's attorney, is justice, not mere conviction. I know people in this office live by that credo because now I work on the other side, and I watch the honor in which they pursue justice. And I know that Aisha's always felt that way. If you have doubts, if you question why she's here, then just go talk to her. She'll convince you. But do me a favor, don't be fooled by the pitch of her voice. Because that wonderful smile doesn't always meet her eyes. And when you see that, know that there's a voracious fight coming. So you better leave, or tuck your chin and get ready to go. Because she may be small in stature, her voice may be high, but she is one hell of a fighter. I've watched her, I've fought against her, I'm sure we'll be doing that again soon. But I trust her. And I say that because this is my home. And for those of you, again, that know me, that although I'm a defense attorney now, this is my home. The courthouse. This is where I came in. And I've watched her, I've talked with her night after night about her worries. Because unlike other elected officials, she has doubts. She questions herself. See, that's important. It's important to not surround yourself with yes men and people that are going to do what you want them to do for fear of getting fired. So she talks to me, somebody who I try to not agree with her. I question her every time I can. And I'm always satisfied with the answer. She has impressed me immensely. She is a wonderful person. She is one great leader. Mother Teresa said, you can't do great things, just small things with great amounts of love. I know she loves her county. I know she loves her job, and I know she loves the people at this office. So I'm very happy that Aisha Braveboy here is at the helm. Know that you're safe, know that you're protected, and know that you have somebody who is going to fight the good fight and finish your race. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Delegate Wilson, for those heartfelt words. I'm sure Aisha, very grateful for them. Next, I'd like to, let's see, this man doesn't need much introduction at all, but let's see what I can do here. I'd like to welcome a trailblazer to come to the podium and offer remarks on this very special occasion. He was the first African American to hold elected office of state's attorney for Prince George's County. Like Ms. Braveboy, this accomplished jurist graduated from Howard Law School, where he later became a professor of law. Nominated by President Clinton and confirmed by the United States Senate to the federal bench, please welcome newly retired federal District Court Judge Alexander.
Thank you, Carmen, Tireless and Adams, and members of the bench, and all the elected officials. So what a pleasure it is for me to be here. I want to use my 3 minutes a little different than the other speakers. I'm going to try to put the historical piece in here. This is a standing room, a holy crowd here. This is quite impressive. As Greg Wells knows, and I think Tim Loney is here, and Gloria, I was sworn in 32 years ago right in front of the courthouse, and we were trying to call citizens in just to see what was going on. Things have different here, and I want to say something about this particular office. The state's attorney for Prince George's County is the most important figure, not just in this county in terms of pulling together law enforcement, politicians, victims, and so forth, but it also is a statewide figure. From this office has come so many state's attorneys from other jurisdictions. State's attorney for Charles County was right in this office. The state's attorney for Calvert County, two of them, Laura Martin and Greg Wells, from this office. We had two state's attorneys of the last four who were county executives. I spent this morning at 8 o'clock at the Howard County Circuit Court. And Richard Gibson became the first black state's attorney for Howard County. It's in Ellicott City. I told him this morning when I saw him that the last time I was in that courthouse was in the mid-'70s, trying to argue a case, and it looked like they had never seen a black lawyer before in their life. But there he was, standing, taking the oath as a state's attorney, and he was an assistant state's attorney right here in Prince George's County. And so I want to remind, again, the state's attorney is coming, Aisha, that this is a powerful office. You're going to be training statewide leaders. You're going to be training new judges. You're going to be training other elected officials who are going to make things happen and change the world. And so this is what this office is all about. And I wanted everyone here to understand that Aisha Braveboy is more than just someone who is a powerful leader for justice. She's been a great leader and so forth, but she's experienced and she understands that she's got to do some things to help the community and also prevent any crimes from ever happening. And I think she's innovative and she's fair. And so yes, I was the first African-American elected state's attorney here, but there's been some great state's attorneys right after that. This is my third opportunity to participate in swearing in. I swore in Glenn Ivey as a state's attorney, and Angela also Brooks asked me to have words at her investiture, and now Aisha Braveboy has asked me to make some comments. So I'm very, very proud of her, but proud of this office, and proud of what she's going to accomplish in the next few years. So I say, Aisha, move forward. We are with you. Thank you for running for office and for winning. And I tell all the citizens, not just of Prince George's, but of the state of Maryland, that you've got a tremendous leader who's going to make a big difference here in the state. So thank you so much for having me come.
Thank you so much, Judge Williams. And now, let's welcome another accomplished judge. Judge Tiffany Anderson currently serves as an associate judge for the Circuit Court of Prince George's County. She's a graduate of the Columbia School of Law at the Catholic University of America. Judge Anderson previously served as an associate state's attorney in Prince George's County and on the District Court of Maryland. Welcome, Judge Anderson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Administrative Judge Sheila Tillerson Adams, to my distinguished colleagues at the Circuit Court for Prince George's County, and my newest colleagues, Judge Watanja Curry, Judge Sharon Kelsey, and Judge Destiny Jared McCarthy. To the judges of the Court of Appeals, judges of the Court of Special Appeals, judges of the Circuit Courts, District Courts, elected officials, members of the bar, and to the family and friends of our newest state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy. Good afternoon and welcome. Judge Williams is always hard to have to follow. I'll do my best to try to follow him and his words of wisdom. I just wanted to share a few words about our newest state's attorney, some things that you may not have known, to give you some insight into the person I've come to know over the past several years. I've known our new state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy, since 2002, when we both worked at the Office of the County Executive. I was just finishing my term as Assistant state's attorney and went over to the county executive's office as she did as well. At that time, she was tasked with representing the county council on behalf of the county executive, and I was tasked with representing the county executive in Annapolis before the Maryland General Assembly. We were both trying to figure out what in the world we were doing down in Annapolis and trying to navigate this political system and trying to figure it out together. I believe that Congressman Brown was a first-time delegate, down there, freshman delegate that year for District 25, and then Chairman Michael Jackson was the then sheriff at the time, and then I see Michael Arrington, who was also legislative director at that time. So we were all down in Annapolis trying to figure things out together. It was a very busy time for Aisha and myself. Many things we did overlapped, especially during the budget season, during the 90-day General Assembly session. We spoke pretty frequently, and both of us were moving at the speed of light because things were happening so quickly. But during that time, I found Aisha to be very organized, very concerned about our county, and a very hard worker. And I think some people might even say that she might have even been more type A than me. That's saying a lot. So over time, we both moved on to other things. I became a partner at my firm at Funk & Bolton in Baltimore and opened an office in Largo, Maryland. And Aisha was there to support and celebrate me at my open house, and of course later when I ascended to the bench. She went on to be a delegate, who I actually had to lobby. And she also was the chairman of the Legislative Black Caucus at that time, and then later served as the manager of government affairs for the Children's National Health System. She also, during that time, served as of counsel to the law firm of Gabriel J. Christian and Associates, and worked with Gabe and Ed Layton for many years. So a small story about Gabe. I had my first job out of law school working as an associate at the law firm of Gabriel Christian. He was a great friend and mentor to me, and I know he's been a great friend and mentor to Aisha as well. To tell you a little bit about Aisha's work ethic and her concern for this county and its residents, she and Gabe were involved in a pro bono project for 3 years involving the Village Green Housing Cooperative for low to moderate income families. The residents were being double billed for water, and they were successful and fighting for the voices of those residents to be heard, and eventually a victory ensued because of the hard work and dedication of the two of them. And again, that was pro bono work that they did for 3 years. There are certain qualities that you have already heard that are necessary for a state's attorney. I have no doubt that Aisha not only possesses these qualities, but will ensure everyone in her office practices those qualities every day. Above all things, the state's attorney must be fair and impartial when enforcing the laws of the state of Maryland. Her job is always to seek justice when deciding whether or not to prosecute a crime. The state's attorney must have integrity and be held to the highest level of ethical and professional conduct. She must also treat the public with respect and require a mutual respect between the assistant state's attorneys in her office and the public. And that's because we want the public to have the utmost confidence and trust in the judicial system, or in the justice system. She must be collaborative with law enforcement and other members of the community, and always remember that her job is to serve the community by seeking justice above all things. Aisha has already hit the ground running, and I have no doubt she will continue to move at lightning speed to ensure her attorneys and staff are well-trained, compassionate, fair, and just in everything that they do. She already exemplifies each of these things in her everyday life. She is kind, generous, selfless, and an active member of the community. She's a fighter, and she fights for what is right. She is smart, and she is fair, she is patient, and she is consistent, which is a very important quality in a state's attorney. Most of all, she's a team player and understands the importance of the office, just as Judge Williams just told us. She understands that every single person who works in the office of the state's attorney is integral to the pursuit of fairness and justice. She understands that. She's going to make sure that that always occurs in her office. She has sound judgment, and I know she will work hard. She has a wonderful legacy that she can build upon that was set by our now County Executive, Angela Alsobrooks. I know they'll be working together to continue to propel our county to greatness. So today, Madam State's Attorney Braveboy, we celebrate you and all of your wonderful achievements and accomplishments. Congratulations. I know how excited you are about this opportunity. I have no doubt in my mind that you will continue to work for the citizens of Prince George's County, Maryland, the state of Maryland, in this new capacity as the state's attorney for
Prince George's County, Maryland. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Judge Anderson. And now, the Administrative Judge for the Circuit Court of Prince George's County and the 7th Judicial Circuit for Maryland, first African-American woman to serve as Deputy County Attorney for Prince George's, and the first African-American woman named to the District Court for Prince George's County. Let us welcome now the Honorable Sheila R. Tillerson Adams.
Great.
Testing 1, 2.
Aisha Braveboy,
Do swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will support
and that I will support
the Charter and the laws of Prince George's County,
the Charter and the laws of Prince George's County,
and that I will,
to
to the best of my skill and judgment,
the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of State's Attorney for Prince George's County, Maryland,
State's Attorney for Prince George's County, Maryland,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state,
and laws of this state,
and the Charter and laws of Prince George's County.
of Prince George's County.
May it please the court, to the Honorable Judge Sheila Tillerson Adams, thank you so much for presiding over this investiture, and to the other honorable judges with us today, thank you very much for being here. I look forward to working with you. I am deeply humbled and overwhelmed by the outpouring of support, and if you would just indulge me, I want to acknowledge just a few people. First, my parents. Oh wait, I missed one. First, I must give honor to God.
All right.
And to quote Hezekiah Walker's eloquent song, every praise is to our God. Every word of worship with one accord. Every praise is to our God. Now I want to thank my parents, who I've had the privilege of knowing for over 44 years. It is an honor to be your daughter. You have loved me, provided for me, encouraged me, and when it was necessary, disciplined me. But as your representative in the State House and now as your state's attorney, you have always believed in me. Not just because I'm your daughter, but you studied my platform, you questioned me, you watched me serve for the past 12 years, and you know my work ethic, and you believe in my vision for this county. I want to thank my big sister, Anika Quinn, my first role model. You taught me perseverance and humility. You've helped me with my spiritual growth, and you sacrificed your time to serve as my first campaign manager when I became a state delegate. To my amazing nieces, thank you for giving me the motivation to achieve my goals. I know that there will be one less barrier for you to achieve your dreams, and I expect you to live life without limitation and in pursuit of your destiny. To my cousin, Ricky Hyde, thank you for leaving a strong legacy at my beloved Howard University School of Law. To U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen, I think he had to leave, but he's a star. If you have not seen him yet, you will see that he is going to make his mark on this country, and we will be there with him. And my good friend in his absence, Anthony Brown, who has become like a big brother to me, a great friend and trusted mentor. I know that his road ahead is endless as well, and I look forward to continuing to watch him as God does wonders in his life. Michael Jackson, who was with us earlier, he really taught me a great deal about law enforcement and how to serve as well as protect, and he has a heart for the people. U.S. Attorney Robert Hur, I look forward to working with you as we address major issues like gang violence, human trafficking, and the proliferation of guns and drugs plaguing our communities. Judge Sheila Tillerson Adams, and in her absence, Judge Lisa Hall Johnson, I look forward to partnering with you and your colleagues to ensure that our system of justice is fair, transparent, and accessible to all. Judge Tiffany Anderson, I admire your work ethic, your love for the law, and your pure heart. You are a really good person, and I'm very fortunate to know you. Judge Williams, you were one of the first people who encouraged me to run for state's attorney. Having yourself served in this role, your support and advice through the difficult parts of my campaign were critical to my success. Attorney General Doug Gansler, thank you and Eric Barron for co-chairing my transition efforts and challenging me not to accept the status quo, but to make this office work better for the people of this county. I am so grateful also to have had the words of Delvin Coates, who is a pastor at Mount Eden. And even though it's not my home church, because my pastor was unable to be here, I consider it a second home. And every time I attend a service there, I learn something and really get something out of your services. My fellow Howard Law Bison, former county executive Sharon Baker, it's just a privilege to have you here, and I thank you so much for your support, and I look forward in the future to supporting your endeavors as well. In her absence, I want to thank County Executive Angela Also Brooks. She will be joining us on Thursday for our celebratory event, so I hope that all of you will also join us. I also must acknowledge my partners in law enforcement, FOP 89, the Deputy Sheriff's Association, Correctional Officers, the United Black Police Officers Association, and the firefighters and paramedics. It is rare that a candidate for prosecutor running on a progressive platform is embraced and endorsed by all of the public safety unions. But we have built trust for many years, and we all acknowledge that while we might not always agree, we all have the same duty to serve the people who we love. I look forward to working with you, Sheriff High. I remember some 16 years ago when you worked to restore the public trust between our community and our police department. And your legacy lives on today. And to Chief Stawinski, we've been on the phone many days, many nights, early mornings, and we will continue to do so because we're working hard to protect the people, to close cases, and to get convictions when that's what justice requires. I look forward to working with you, Chief Barksdale. I also look forward to working with you. The fire and EMS, you're the first responders, oftentimes in particular for our victims of domestic violence. You're the ones that get called first when there's an incident. And we want to work with you so that we can ensure that all victims are treated fairly and get the services and help that they need. And they all work under the leadership of our Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, Mark McGarvey, who's with us today. And I look forward to continuing the partnership so that we can continue to drive down crime here in Prince George's County. I also must acknowledge my partners in the labor community. Our county is safer because you demand that we have good jobs with good benefits for our residents. You train and employ people who need a second chance. You will be my secret weapon in our collective fight against crime. And I will be yours in our collective fight for living wages and expanding union jobs in our county. I would also like to acknowledge my fellow Caribbean, one of the most distinguished attorneys in the state of Maryland, Gabriel Christian. You gave me a chance to work with you, and you taught me a great deal about the law and how to truly serve clients. And most importantly, you introduced me to Mr. Ed Layton, who is a phenomenal, amazing attorney who's been a huge supporter and mentor of mine for a number of years. Delegate C.T. Wilson, I know how much this office means to you. I know how deeply you love the people who serve here. And I know that you supported me because you genuinely believe that I can not only run this office effectively, but I would prioritize the needs of the employees. And I must thank my partner and good friend for over 15 years, Phil Lee. We have worked together to divert over 4,000 children out of our criminal justice system. Because of your leadership, over 4,000 children have graduated from high school, many have gone on to college, and are productive members of our society. I look forward to continuing to work with you as I take on this new role. I would also like to thank my sorors of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated for the love and support that you have shown me for the over 22 years that I have been a member of this illustrious sisterhood. I look forward to working with you and my other Divine Nine brothers and sisters as we promote social justice throughout our community. To the National Bar Association, the J. Franklin Bourne Bar Association, and the Washington Bar Association, I am proud to hold memberships in your organizations. Thank you for your leadership and the advancement of a diverse legal community. I will reach out to you as a source of recruitment, policy development, and community engagement. You know, I didn't get here alone. I want to first ask Team Braveboy to stand. I want to thank you for your tireless support for the past 2 years. You all mean the absolute world to me. And to my new team, Team SAO, that's the State's Attorney's Office, it is truly an honor to serve with you as we carry out one of the greatest duties of any public office, to protect the people of the county that we all love, a county where I grew up. Every morning when I drive to the courthouse, I pass my old high school, Largo Senior High. I think about the fact that a young girl who went to that school is now the top law enforcement officer in the county. And I get excited knowing that somewhere in those hallways, another young person is developing the skills to take my place. We have the talent right here. I believe in our children. After Largo, I received my undergraduate from the University of Maryland at College Park, where I encountered Donna Brazil. She was one of my professors, and she helped to bring clarity to my path in life. And then I had the privilege of attending the greatest civil rights institution in our country, the Howard University School of Law. Where I had the honor of being taught by scholars like the late Professor J. Clay Smith, former County Executive Isaiah Leggett, Patricia Worthy, and the incomparable civil rights attorney Nikichi Taifa, just to name a few. Earlier today, I was with Congressman Gregory Meeks, a fellow Howard Law alum, as we celebrated Howard University School of Law's 150-year history. After law school, I worked at the FCC for a couple of years and then was tapped to lead local government affairs for the county executive's office. After 3 years, I decided to run for public office and became the state delegate for the 25th Legislative District. I served in the Maryland General Assembly for 8 years. I was tapped by the Speaker of the House to serve as chair of the Consumer Protection Committee, and elected by my peers to serve as chair of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland. During that time, I worked for the law offices of Gabriel J. Christian and Associates. I decided to leave the General Assembly in 2014 to run for Attorney General for Maryland, and was the first Black woman to independently run for a statewide office. While I was not successful in that bid, I stayed involved and active in my community. And when people needed help, they knew that they could count on me. When my predecessor decided to pursue another office, I decided to step up for another chance to serve the people of Prince George's County. With a clear mandate, the people decided that it was my time. It is a true privilege to lead the Office of State's Attorney. Being sworn into this position is the greatest accomplishment of my professional career. But serving with the men and women in the State's Attorney's Office, my law enforcement partners, and my colleagues at the courthouse will be one of the greatest joys of my life. The State's Attorney's Office is arguably the most powerful office in the county, and our mission is one of the most noble. Our mission is to pursue justice. Robert Kennedy once said, "The glory of justice and the majesty of law are created not by the Constitution, nor by the court, nor by the officers of law, nor by the lawyers, but by the men and women who constitute our society, who are the protectors of the law as they are themselves protected by the law." With this in mind, one of my first changes was to revise the organization chart for the office. The state's attorney is no longer at the top. The residents of Prince George's County are at the head of this office. We will deliver the kind of justice system that our residents can be proud of with a talented and dedicated workforce. That is why my top priority is to strengthen the state's attorney's office by retaining, developing, and recruiting top talent and improving the processes and systems of the office. My first order of business was to meet with each of the over 200 employees of the state's attorney's office. As a result of the information gathered from those meetings, I'm advocating for higher pay and benefits through our agency's proposed FY20 budget. I've established a training unit focused on skill and career development for both attorneys and other professionals in our office. I have given a voice to employees through office-wide committees open to all staff and through regular meetings with units and leadership. My second priority is to make Prince George's County an international model for youth justice reform. I have taken the juvenile unit out of the rotation for new attorneys, and in the future, it will be staffed with experienced, dedicated professionals who understand the uniqueness of the juvenile justice system. But more importantly, who understand the opportunities we have to shape the future of our young people through meaningful diversion, intervention, and restorative justice. The unit will not only be a prosecuting unit, but will offer comprehensive services like teen court and other SMART interventions. The unit will also advance policy around youth justice and will partner with our pediatric providers, nonprofits, lawmakers, and the faith community to develop real solutions for our young people. My next priority is to work with our law enforcement partners at the federal, state, and local levels to end the proliferation of illegal guns and drugs on our streets. We will do this by flagging every case where a gun is used and determining whether the defendant was in lawful possession of the firearm used in the commission of the crime. If we determine that the defendant was not eligible to be in possession of the firearm, we will notify our law enforcement partners and will work to determine the source of the firearm. By keeping such data and making it a priority, we will be able to determine if guns used in crimes can be traced back to a common source. While we have seen our homicide rate decrease over the past few years, the vast majority of our homicides are still a result of gun violence, often related to the drug trade. We must go after the source of the guns in addition to those who use or deal them on our streets. I will continue to work with our judges and with lawmakers to develop small alternatives to incarceration and continue to work to reform our bail system. My office is in the process of reviewing the types of cases that we have prosecuted in the past year, and we will look at ways of meaningfully diverting low-level cases and offer opportunities for jobs, training, and skill development. That is where my strong partnership with the labor community will be most valuable. Our unions stand ready and willing to give people a second chance and provide a pathway to a livable wage and long-term benefits. I will be a strong advocate for the mentally ill. We must demand parity in treatment for those with mental disorders and provide access to treatment as we do for individuals with other disorders. Lastly, and I have said on numerous occasions, that the people of Prince George's County deserve to be represented by people who operate with the highest degree of professionalism and integrity. I have created a standalone public integrity unit that will handle police misconduct cases and public corruption. The unit will offer constitutional policing training to all law enforcement agencies and will provide public integrity training for government and elected officials. This unit will prosecute individuals who unlawfully violate the public trust. I take this very seriously. There is no excuse for corruption. My office will have a zero tolerance policy for these types of cases. I take this new role very seriously. Every day I am reminded that my calling is to pursue truth and seek justice. Justice for the countless victims of crime. Justice for those accused of crime. Justice for the wrongfully convicted and those who received unfair sentences. Justice for the communities, families, and individuals that are disproportionately affected by crime. Justice for our immigrant community and our LGBTQI sisters and brothers. Justice for our seniors and those with disabilities. It is the job of my office to take every case, complaint, and allegation serious. It is our job to be responsive to our community, and that means taking into account the diversity of our people and the different perspectives that they bring to the table. It is our job to work with and support our law enforcement partners and all others working in the criminal justice system. But it is also our job to hold them accountable. It is our job to be fair and above board in our internal policies and procedures and to treat each other with fairness and honesty. It is our job to charge cases with integrity, not motivated by securing a plea, but motivated by seeking justice. Under my leadership, the discretion and power that this office is bestowed with cannot and will not be used to promote our individual agendas, but will be used in a way that is fair, just, and transparent. I am always mindful that until we put our words into practice, they are just mere words. Under my administration, our actions will line up with what we say. So I want to end the way I began, by thanking God for this tremendous opportunity to serve the county that I love. I also want to thank you for believing in me and supporting the men and women who work tireless in the office of the state's attorney. So today, our journey for, as we call it, hashtag Brave Justice begins. And I look forward to working with all of you for a better tomorrow for Prince George's County.
Thank you. Well, I will say that I am truly inspired and certainly excited as you begin your tenure as state's attorney. Your commitment to the office and certainly to the citizens of Prince George's County is clearly evident. We stand with you as you pursue making this county a better place to work, to live, and to play. And now I think we will end our program. We will have Evangelist Octavia Caldwell of the Shiloh Baptist Church who will close us out with the benediction.
Protocol having been established, I will proceed so that I don't stand between us and the reception downstairs. To the Honorable Aisha Braveboy, I want to thank you for the honor of offering a benedictory blessing at this, your investiture. As you assume this new responsibility, it is my hope and prayer that you will continue to draw upon all of the qualities that brought you to this time and to this moment in life. As I pray a blessing upon you for this special moment, I first leave you with an adapted quotation from former President of the United States, Barack Obama. Those of us who have the privilege to serve this county have an obligation to do our job as best we can. We come from different parties, but we are Prince Georgians first. And that's why disagreement cannot mean dysfunction. It can't degenerate into hatred. The county's people's hopes and dreams are what matters, not ours. Our obligations are to them. Our regard for them compels us all to cooperate and to compromise and to act in the best interest of our beloved county, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now unto him who is able to keep you from falling, may the Lord bless you, may the Lord keep you, may the Lord make his face shine unto you and be gracious to you, and lift up his countenance upon you and grant you peace both now and forevermore. And all the people said,
Amen. Before we go, I'm going to ask everyone to please remain where you are for one moment. I'm going to ask photographer, please come forward. You know, there's going to be times when Aisha's going to feel like no one's